Wow, I look so good today. Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am gonna bake a cake. I have no real reason to make a cake, plus I'm out of isolation. I wanna make like one of those really cute fancy ones with like the icing. I bought like piping stuff specifically to make it. So I thought that we could just make a cake together and like chat. Now, I kind of want to chat about like being alone. And when I say being alone, I mean like not in a relationship sense. It'll be quite fun. I figure we could do this relatively often, like baking different goods maybe, and like chatting about different topics perhaps, because I kind of want to talk about like more things. Like, obviously I talk about mental health quite a lot on this channel, but I want to talk about like specific avenues. So like maybe I do one, we could talk about like food freedom, and then do like another one on like anxiety and stuff. I don't know. Let me know. It's kind of like a podcast, but baking and visuals, and not like a podcast at all. So for my cake, I'm gonna make a vanilla cake. Now, I'm not baking it from scratch, so there is that. As I say, it's more about the topic of conversation, I guess. But I have a vanilla sponge mix. This is basically like a vegan cake hack, and I have a vanilla sponge mix and some lemonade. So basically, in order to make the cake, all you need is one pack of like sponge mix. I usually have like Betty Crocker, but they ran out of Betty Crocker, so I just got this vanilla sponge mix from Sainsbury's. What you're supposed to do is add eggs and milk, and instead you add a can of Diet Coke, lemonade or Diet Coke, and I have this. I feel like this kitchen is so not designed for my kind of behaviour, because like this microwave is so bulky and this fridge is so bulky, but there's nowhere else I can really do it. So maybe one day I'll have like a massive kitchen with like an island. That's the goal. That is the bloody goal. Anyway, so back to what I actually wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about like being alone and being single and all that kind of fun stuff, because obviously I've been single for quite a while. Or if you follow me at all throughout my entire channel, actually, you'd know that. The last time I was in a relationship was my first ever YouTube video. It's the last time that the last video you would have seen that I was technically in a relationship. Not that it was obvious. I broke up with my other half then, which is 2018. So a long time ago. Just quickly just gonna add my Diet Coke. It goes really weird. I'll show you what it looks like. Like, how weird does that look? I may have added too much, now that I'm looking at it. Okay, I feel like I've got massively sidetracked because my batter is now slightly too thin. So I don't know if I've added too much lemonade. I should have done it bit by bit, but I literally didn't. Here I am saying this is gonna be like a podcast and really insightful, and I'm just not talking. Before I was actually single, I used to be very relationship heavy. I never really saw myself being single, really, because I went sort of like from one long relationship to another long relationship. And obviously it's completely fine to be that kind of person, to like want to be in a relationship. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be in a relationship. I should probably say that right now. The idea of being alone can be quite like a daunting topic, particularly if you were like me or are like me and you've only ever been really in relationships, because you sort of like have a bit of an identity crisis when you come out. Well, at least I did. This is coming from a completely my own point of view. Obviously nothing I'm saying is based on fact. By the way, side note, I only have one tin, so I'm gonna have to do this in a two-part situation. Basically, I think that when you were in a relationship, or when I was in a relationship, I formed a bit of a identity with that person and less so like my own one. I think learning to be okay with being by yourself is very difficult, particularly in like modern day life. Romantic relationships are very, I want to say romanticized, but like obviously because they're romantic relationships, but they're very publicized. Is that the right word? There's a lot of pressure for people to want to be in relationships or need to be in relationships at certain points of their life. So I'm in my 20s now, and when I was younger, when I was like 16, 17s, I was like, by the time I'm 25, I'm going to be with the person I'm going to marry. Bearing in mind I'm 24. I was like, I'm going to have kids by this age, married by this age. Once again, not that it's an issue if you find the person you want to marry and you're really young, that's obviously fine. It's just a big fingers crossed now, because I'm going to put this in the oven. So while that's in the oven, I am going to make the icing. I'm obviously going to make it pink. So I'm going to make like a buttercream. So I've got icing sugar, butter, and vanilla, and pink icing, pink food colouring. I wanted like the base to be like a light pink, and then I'm going to pipe like a dark pink. So it's like a whole pink vibe. Oh god. Not the rings. Okay. I do think there are ways that you can make yourself feel better by being alone, because I know, as I go back to what I said earlier, when I first was like alone, I thought it was like the worst thing in the world. But when I look back and and like actually think about the time that I've been alone and how far I've grown in that. Now, I'm not necessarily saying it is because I've been alone, because obviously there's so many factors to play, and like coming up to 3 years is a long time. I need to sip this. A lot of my growth has come from being alone, because being alone used to be something that used to make me quite uncomfortable, and now bloody love being by myself. I actually probably like being by myself too much. I feel like learning to enjoy your own company is something you can do in a relationship, obviously. I know it's so bloody cliche to say, but at the end of the day, like I am I was gonna say I am me, obviously, but like I am the only person in my life that is ever gonna 100% put me first the whole time, or I am the only person that's looking out for me. I'm the only person that's getting me out of bed on the hard days. I'm the only person that's brushing my teeth on the hard days. Whatever, I need to give myself that time alone, or make sure that the time I am spending by myself or with myself, I am looking after myself. I'm not trying to like knock a support system in any way. Just when I look back, say I look back at my first video and compare myself to now, as I say, like there's so many elements to it, but like at the end of the day, I have been by myself that whole time, and I have been single that whole time, regardless of whether or not it would have been any different if I was in a relationship. I know what I have achieved being single. Like I've done that all by myself, and I can keep doing it by myself. It's a small butter I've used is quite yellow. It's gonna go like a bit of a peachy tone, but that's fine. So I actually don't know if I've been talking actually gibberish this whole time. But you gotta keep your head up, oh. I wanna, like, obviously there are some elements to being alone that can be quite lonely, and like I would be lying if there wasn't times in my life in the past 3 years that I've been like, to have someone else there right now would be great. Then I snap out of it and I'm fine again. But, you know, some people just are more built for relationships. The other thing is like stages of life and stuff. Like, as I said earlier, like I think there's such a pressure for people to want to be in a relationship, or people to need to have someone else, or like so for example, I follow like quite a few different YouTubers and vloggers and stuff, and I've followed them for many years, and a lot of them aren't that much older than me. So like there's many couples that I follow online that are like 25 and they've got like baby, house, dog. And I'm 24, so it's only a year older than me, and they've like got this whole life plan like set out for them in theory. I mean, that's lovely, that's great, but like that's not my trajectory. If I find myself in a relationship in the next 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, then so be it, but I'm not like upset because I don't have what they have, you know? Everyone's doing their own thing and everyone's happy with their own little life. And the other thing that I'm gonna bring this back to is like, if we talk about like the difference in expectations with like women being in relationships and men being in relationships, I feel like it's like women are the ones that have to want to be in a relationship, and it's men that don't want to be in relationships. I'm talking stereotypically here, hello. There's so much more pressure on young girls and young women, young teenagers, to like want to find a man. There's more pressure on men to find a good career, find a good job. It's like all on like women, and if women aren't wanting to be in a relationship, it's seen as like, I don't know, just like a weird thing. Obviously I do want to be in a relationship at one point. This is not me saying like a forever thing. Like I want a baby, I want a fucking huge wedding, just like I'm 24. Now this is like the exact colour I wanted. Now I'm not gonna lie, the cakes have not done as well. I think I did not do as much. Like I think I put too little in the cake tin. I should have doubled it really. It's a bit bland. Now yeah, it just doesn't look that great as it is. I can't decide whether or not to go and get an additional like packet, or to just grin and bear it and just ice it, but like add a lot of icing. Let me think and I'll get back to you. Okay, I really can't bother to go and get any more, whatever it's called, so I'm just gonna ice it. It's gonna be a thin cake, but it's basically like one layer. You know how you have like a tray bake? That's pretty much what's gonna be. I'm gonna add a little bit of jam in the middle. I did cut it a little bit so I could taste it, because it tastes fine. It's just like, there's just not enough of it. This one is worse. But I want to like ice around the sides and stuff, so it doesn't really matter too much, to be honest. That top layer is pretty shocking, but it's fine. It's quite bad, but it's not like the end of the world, so. Should I zoom in on that so you can see just how pathetic this is gonna be? Okay, so when I say I've had a bit of a palaver with this cake, I'm not even slightly being dramatic. I have finally got this cake to a place where it's relatively all right. It is looking like a bit of a tray bake, but that's fine. But basically I ended up icing it way too soon, so then I had to put it in the freezer. And then I had to re-ice it. But I've just made some mother icing, and I actually don't like the colour of it, I'm not gonna lie. Right, so I have a piping bag. I have no idea how to do this now. I don't know what the fuck that was. I feel like I've done so well. I need to show my friends. We are back with the final step. I've moved my piping bag into another piping bag so I can get rid of like the tip, so it's just like one thin line. And now I'm gonna pipe, and I'm scared about this bit. And I want to chat, but I think I'm gonna really need to like focus, like big time. Right, let me just try and get this right first. I'm so scared. Okay, right. And I'm gonna see. I'm actually. Okay, that looks good. It looks good. Watch me spell something wrong. My dyslexic ass. Okay, you can't quite see it, but I can. I just want to make sure that I'm coming across well. Me after I say anything or do anything in life. And when I talk about being alone and stuff, there's always going to be parts in your life or times in your life when you are not happy. Like for example, when I said earlier that like some days I am like, ugh, I wish I wasn't by myself. You're always going to have that in the same way that you're never going to be 100% happy with who you are and what you are all the time. And I think it's okay to not love yourself all the time or love being alone all the time. It looks so good. I might just do a little heart. Here we are currently. Pretty damn happy with that. It's really wonky. But that doesn't matter. That literally doesn't matter. What matters is that we've had fun doing it and that it looks good. Not that it looks good actually. I think I've ruined it. Problem is I'm not even going to want to eat this on camera right now because I know I'm going to want to take a million pictures of it. But point of this whole video is I made a cake and I'm happy about it. Being alone is completely okay and fun. Look at that, that looks like it's straight off a Pinterest board, doesn't it? Okay, on that note, I will eat this. I might put a clip of editing Helen obviously eating this, but for now. Okay, I have two things to say. First thing is I ate and finished the cake way before I've edited this, so the cake is done. And I'm not eating it while I'm editing it. Second thing is I've been watching this video back thinking I don't know if anything that I'm saying actually makes any sense, but I wanted to make sure it's clear that I'm talking about like being happy, being by yourself in this video, but that isn't to say that you can't be happy within a healthy relationship too. And I think the things I'm saying in this video, like finding time for yourself and doing things that you enjoy by yourself, is also important when you're in a relationship too. So I think the overall vibe is that you need to learn to be comfortable being alone regardless of whether or not you're in a relationship or not, but also being alone is completely fine as well, and there's no actual rush to do anything. Sorry if I scream out black. But yeah, I hope that came across, because I don't want to look like I'm like, no one be in a relationship, like relationships are bad. Like relationships are lovely, relationships are so good. Oh my gosh, if it's a healthy relationship and you're thriving, like you can completely thrive in a relationship and not in one. There's literally all the videos me saying that like both options are great. Okay, bye. I'm just gonna exist and let her look pretty before I delve in, but I will for now. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like this video is all over the place. Like I actually don't think we had a solid conversation here, so I'm sure I'll be able to work some magic, but we'll see if there's actually any content here. If there's not, then thanks for watching this video anyway. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you in the next one.